Welcome to Why Not Us podcast. It's Friday. Like, it is Friday. It's a beautiful Friday. And it's your host, Ken J. And this Friday and many Fridays to come, it's Freestyle Friday chats with Sheeka. Sheeka, how are you feeling mentally?
Mentally, I am amazing. I am amazing. I was under the weather for about a good going on 2 weeks now. So to come out of that and mentally to have that brain fog go away and to be able to think clearly, oh yeah, I'm amazing. Thank you for
That
asking. Thank you for
man,
asking. So
I'm
how are you
I'm
feeling mentally today? What's your and then on top of that, let me make you go a little deeper. What's your emotion for today? How you truly
my
feeling?
my emotion today. Um Hey LJ. My emotions today is really gratitude. I'm at
Okay.
peace. I'm grateful. I'm just happy. I'm
Love it.
happy because I love me now. So
Mm.
it's a feeling that I can't even explain. Um,
For sure.
so
Nah, you just explained all that perfectly, like all the emotions together. And that's what I'm big on teaching people, like, because most time people say, how you doing? Oh, I'm good. I'm all right. I'm cool. It's like, well, what does that mean, bro? Like, I need to know an emotion because, we so easy to know that we feel all right, but like, what does that mean? So to say I'm grateful, I'm happy, I love me. That's
yes,
beautiful. That's beautiful.
yes,
Okay.
yes. What's going on, Misty? What's going on, LJ? They on the live. My nephew just said hi, Auntie. Misty just
Hi.
said, hey y'all.
Hey,
So
Misty.
so you already know the vibes, man. Go ahead, do your thing. Let them know, man. Do your thing,
Well,
Sheeka.
all right. Well, welcome everybody. So this is like she said, mini Fridays. It's gonna be Freestyle Friday chats. And so basically what that is that we just gonna be talking about whatever we feel the spirit to talk about. Like I actually pulled a card before we went live, and the card I actually pulled today was released. So I asked for spirit to say whatever we need to talk about today is going to be Freestyle Friday. So sometimes we might have an actual topic, and sometimes it'll be whatever we want to talk about. But I do know that one of the messages that we're going to talk about today is release. And so release could be whatever that may be for anyone, because that's going to be the message for the collective, and whatever resonates with y'all is going to be what it's going to be. So people who know me, they can call me Sheeka. In the professional world, my full name is Rashika. So my main bread and butter, my passion, what I'm here for is that I'm a therapist. I help people recover from trauma, recover from addiction. And then I also do life coaching where I hold people accountable to ownership of owning their shit and learning how to walk in their greatness and learning how to tap into your spiritual self and learning how to continue to elevate in the frequency that you need to not let ego and flesh take us over. Because look, we spiritual beings having this human experience, and sometimes this human experience just suck us dry. We forget who we truly are. So that's what
Yes.
my role is, as teaching people, and that's what one of my purposes is on earth, is to help people learn how to walk into their greatness. So that is who I am. So just for people who will be tuning in, like if you hear got questions, or if you have particular topics that you would love for us to talk about, please hit me up, because we'll talk about anything from spirituality, anything from whatever we feel like we want to talk about. So and then there's no filter here. So just kind of keep that in mind. That's what Freestyle Friday chats are. We gonna be who we gonna be. So
For
welcome.
sure. What up? What up, Talisha? What's going on, cuz? What's going on, Sade? What's going on? Um, Sade says she needs to inbox you, Sheikah.
Okay,
So
it's wide open. Hit me up.
yeah. So let's talk about release. So when you think about release, what do you think about, Sheikah? Like when you think about the word release.
Excuse me. So release for me is being able to let go. And we all hear, oh, just let it go, but letting go from your core, from your soul. Because some people don't realize, like, our soul can be so tired because we're holding on. That's why I asked you earlier, like, what's your emotion? Because a lot of times we can say, oh, I feel tired today, or I feel cold, but like, what's the emotion behind that? So sometimes our body holds on to so many emotions that we feel some type of way from that. So being able to release is learn how to let go of your emotions. One thing too about releasing is being able to know, like, what have I had, what have I outgrown. Sometimes we be stuck in some the same old situations, and realizing that we need to move. Spirit say go, we need to go. So learning how to outgrow things. If some of us are like working on a project that you know you ain't gonna never finish, move on to something else. So learning how to like figure out what project or phase we are in our life, and when it's time to just let go and release. Sometimes we are holding on longer than we need to. Sometimes we might be holding on to some type of sadness, some type of ailment in our bodies. Like I'm big on y'all teaching everybody a holistic approach. Like your shoulder over there probably hurting because you probably holding on to some residual anger somewhere in your body. So getting in tune with your body. So releasing is just going from knowing what your body looks like. So like when you said earlier, I feel gratitude. It's like, where do you feel that gratitude in your body? How does your body let you know that you in gratitude mode today? And so knowing what that looks like. So when it's time to release whatever negative energy come or somebody coming this way, it's like, I'm on gratitude today. So knowing what your body tells you, what that looks like. So that's my long answer of what releasing, but we should all be releasing something. So for anybody, this is a message from my spirit right now. If anybody is in a situation where you feeling stuck, or you may be outgrown, or it's time to shift, move. Some of y'all still living in the same town you went to school in, and no shade, but it might be time for you to travel. It might be time for you to get out of the town. You might be so stuck. So think about ways that we've outgrown some things, and when it's time to move and shift, even if it's shifting the energy in your house. Some of y'all still sitting on the same furniture, and I'm talking to myself. I'm about to buy me a new living room set. But when it's time to release and shift, that's what that's all about. So tell me, what's release for you?
So release to me is just being able to accept different things, that's not gonna be the same no more. You know what I'm saying? Like being able to understand, like, it's not gonna be the same anymore. So I have to release the idea that things are going to stay the same when they're not. You know what I'm saying? So releasing is really understanding I gotta get out of the way of my lower vibration, my lower self for my higher self, because sometimes my lower self wants to take over my higher self, and that's self-sabotage. So when I think about release, I think about that. It was hard for me to forgive people. When people do things to me, I used to hold on to it. I used to have some hate towards them. I used to have resentment towards them. I used to be really angry with them. I felt like people owed me shit. I felt like people owe me shit. If I'm doing A, B, C, and D for you, why aren't you doing A, B, C, and D for me? And that's how the ego has taken over. That's how the ego took over for me. And it really wasn't my soul. It really wasn't my spirit. But now that I no longer operate in ego, I release all the people that hurt me. I release all the people that hurt my family members. I released those boys that beat my cousin Jamal down in 2004. I had to forgive them, and that was just so hard for me. But I had to forgive them for myself. And so when I think about release, I think about a powerful movement, because that release is a weight, is a burden being lifted off of you. That's what, when I think about release, that's what I think about. Being able to just be my most authentic self and not worrying about everybody else. I'm releasing everybody. You know what I'm saying? I'm not accepting anybody talking crazy to me, talking about my weight, telling me this, telling me that. I don't accept it. No, I don't. I don't need that energy in my life, and I don't need you in my life. Because if I'm adding to you, you will add to me.
Hello.
So when I think about release, that's what I think about, Sheeka.
Come through. I shake, man. I ain't got my lighting in me. I got my I need to
man, let's go, Sheeka.
Listen.
What's going on, Katina? What up, school?
Love it. I love it. And that's what it's about. Like, I love that part where you said, like, because I've been there too. Like, I've been battling weight all of my life. And I related to, like, I think you shared it either on a podcast or something that I remember seeing you speak on about, like, losing weight for other people or losing it for the wrong reason. And then it wasn't genuine. Like, I'm doing all of this, but because at the end of the day, like, we lose the outside, but then mentally we ain't happy inside. You know,
Mm-mm.
so like you said, being able to release all of those things, I felt that. That's why I was like, ooh, I shade on that. So that was a
Yes.
beautiful, and that's what the word is about. That's why I said, so I challenge anybody that's listening today, like, think about what release means to you. First, identify. Like, I'm big on, like, identify what the word means. You could go and, like, Google the actual definition. But then after you identify what it means, then what does it mean to you? And then how can I adapt that to my life? So it's like, hey, where am I stuck? What do I need to release? Am I holding on to anger from 15 years ago? Am I being triggered so much in my life now that I'm realizing, like, dang, I ain't really mad at this person right now, but I'm really mad at something because they trigger me. Like, when our trigger glasses go up, we don't see nothing but what we see through here. So if I'm angry, all I'm seeing is anger. And then I'm feeling frustrated. I'm feeling irritated. Like, and I don't see anything else. And sometimes people don't realize that we respond out of our trigger glasses. And then when they come down, it's like, dang, what I just do? What I just say? Then we might have destroyed a whole relationship. We might have destroyed maybe a job. So I challenge y'all to understand, like, and we'll probably have a whole conversation on triggers one day, but I promise you to understand, going back to the word release, like, if you need to release something, let it go. And if you don't know how to let it go, mentor, coach, therapist, sometimes letting it go ain't talking to your family members, because they might be telling somebody else, and your form of release then turn into everybody knowing what's going on. So be careful who you release with. I'm big on journaling.
Mm.
Like, if you ain't got
Mm.
nobody you trust, like, get you a journal, bro. Like, that's what.
Woo.
And if you don't know how to journal, just it's vomited on paper. Listen, you can find it's. I love journals because, like, you can do journal prompts. Like, if you're not a freestyle writer, find a journal with some prompts. But I need y'all to, and every day we should be feeling like, okay, what did I hold on to today, so I can release it, because it's not serving us. Because some of y'all don't realize, like, the culture of this high blood pressure, cholesterol, weight, all of these things. Like, I know a lot of my emotions is in my gut. Some of y'all gotta be like, I can't get rid of my gut. Do you need to release some emotions? Are you holding on to some trauma? Are you holding on to some anger? Are you still holding on to that ex and you still got some in your closet that you need to let go? So get deep with your release. I'm challenging you to, know what that looks like. How does one obtain a member? That's a beautiful question. It really depends on what you feel like you need. Like, honestly, like, my mentor, I found her on IG. I was looking on a hashtag, just looking for things that I was, going through at the time. And I start following her, watching her live, see if I resonated with her. And she ended up becoming my member. I mean, my mentor. So a mentor could be somebody who's a life coach. It might be somebody who has lived experience in something. So let's say, for example, like, somebody can say, like, man, like, I mean, KJ was talking before we got on, like, I'm a recovering people pleaser. That used to be that was my victim badge. Codependency on one side, people please on the other side. But now I'm a master teacher in that, because I know what that feels like. I know what it looks like. So mentor, again, you can find, there are people who actually, consider themselves as a mentor. So it's all about your resources. But like I said, I find my person on Instagram, and you might find somebody that, again, a life coach can become your mentor. They might specialize in just transformation, and you might need to find somebody that can help you to transform. So it really depends on deciding what that looks like, because some mentors could be very strict. Like, my mentor is like, look, if you ain't ready to do the work, then I ain't trying to mentor you over here. So know
Yeah.
what you need a mentor for, and decide, like, a mentor is going to hold you accountable for what you're doing right now, as well as a coach. But then if you got some unhealed stuff, then go deeper and connect with a therapist so you can help process that and release that stuff. So then it's time to reach out for the mentor. So decide where you are in your life, so that way you'll know if it's time to get a mentor, or should something that should be something you look for, after you unheal, heal some stuff. So hope that gives you what you need. But anybody can really become a mentor. Hell, KJ is a mentor over here with this podcast. Like, she touching on a whole bunch of things. So, you'd be surprised. And then for anybody that's sitting on some life experiences, you might can create being a mentor. That might be something that you might be needing to be doing. So think about you guys that's been saying, like, oh, I heal from this, or I might have had 20 relationships in my life, but I might be a whole relationship coach over here. So, just, be mindful of where you are in your life to decide what that mentor would actually serve you for.
You said a lot. You just said a whole lot. And you be saying major stuff, man. You feel me? Because I'm sitting here listening to what you're saying, because I suffer with codependency. I suffer with people pleasing. I used to.
Mm-hmm.
That was my past. That's what I
Mm,
used to do. I couldn't say no.
yeah.
I couldn't say no.
Oof.
And when, like, I always bring up the woman in my life right now, because she's the one that helped me to establish boundaries. She
that's
taught
good.
me how to put boundaries in my life. So every time I have a conversation about boundaries and different things, I have to go back to her and how she taught me about boundaries, how she taught me how to use my voice, how she
Mm,
told me to stop talking to myself negative, how she just corrected me, and how she just helped me, how she tapped on my greatness, and that's why I'm here now. So
mm-hmm.
I always have to bring her up because that's how I learned about boundaries from my queen.
Yeah,
So I
I
always
should
have to bring her up. I always,
give her
so
flowers because I promise you, boundaries, and that's one thing that, and that's a one person, you know, when you look for a mentor, you say, hey, I struggle with boundaries. And if it's not attached to maybe some trauma, then maybe you might struggle. Because I promise you, the hardest time that we spend putting boundaries up is either in a work environment or with our family. That is the
whew,
hardest. And as I've been working with boundaries over people, with people over the years, family is the number one. Because if you come from a very conditioned mindset, very conditioned family who's still stuck in their old ways and they're not knowing what your true elevation looks like now, putting a boundary up, they're just like putting a boundary up. I'm your mama. I'm your dad. I'm your such
yeah,
and such. And it's like, I'm
you
trying
owe
to be great
me.
over here.
You
Yeah.
owe me.
Yeah.
You disrespectful. You know what I'm saying? And it's like people don't understand how that plays a trick. Like it messes with you when you when you're older, because it's like, oh man, I did something. Oh, I made this person mad, but the whole time you didn't even make the person mad. Like I'm so
Yeah.
used to taking everything. Everything I was just taking everything. Like if somebody had a problem, it was my problem because I felt like I did it to them. So
Mm-hmm.
I was just like, man, I gotta make this person happy. 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 I gotta make sure that person's okay. I gotta make sure that you okay? Okay, what's going on? What's going on? Why you mad? Why your energy like that? Why? The whole
Mm-hmm.
time, what about me?
Exactly.
What about Kendra?
Yeah.
I forgot about myself.
Mm-hmm.
So now I think about Kendra. I think
Yeah.
about how am I going to be service to people if I really don't love myself?
Yeah, that's true, and that's what is big. Like that's another thing outside of boundaries, like learning how to love yourself. Because a lot of us don't understand that we struggle in just relationships and just life because we lack self-love. Like we as humans, we operate out of lack. It could be lack of love, lack of, we might have trust issues, whatever. So that's another challenge too for anybody that's listening today. Think about how you operate out of lack, because that's not something that you want to continue to do. But if we don't love ourselves true, like, and you got to get to say like, I love me enough to say no. Because listen, saying no, man, that was the hardest thing. I was in therapy for that, learning how to say no. Like being able to, those friends, because I had a lot of friends that I thought because I went to school with them or because they've been in my life that I'm supposed to still be, but we we outgrow people. But then we feel like from a mental, because we've been conditioned thinking that we're supposed to do certain things, or that negative word of the word, oh, I should. So anybody that's using should, start releasing that from your vocabulary, because a lot of times we think we're supposed to do things and we should, or we're doing out of obligation, and we sitting over here miserable as hell because we're trying to make somebody else happy. And so saying no sometimes is hard for, as far as putting up a boundary and even putting a period behind it. But if you find yourself saying, well, why, if somebody say, well, why, if you go into over explaining or doing all the reasons and all of that, you still got something you need to release. You still holding on to something because you operating out of feeling like you have to go into that. And that sometimes could be a trauma response. Like, but again, if as a kid, if we were told that we couldn't be, which of all of us, we were placed in a box. Placed in a box. We couldn't be who we wanted to be because we were told we were supposed to sit down, be quiet, stay in the child's place. Don't do that. You ain't supposed to do that. All of these rules. And it's like, but dang. Well, how am I? And then we go to school. We got to stand in a straight line and be quiet. All this conditioning we had growing up, then now we grown as adults don't know who the hell we are because we
No.
been in boxes for so long. So releasing the belief that we're supposed to be fitting in these boxes, and then identifying your greatness to know, like, okay, I can come out this box now. Let me, what this feel like over here, to really
Feel
know who
good.
we are, because. And then to be able to say, no, I'm not going to do that. Or no, I can't come. My anxiety said, I can't come see you today. My anxiety said, I'm not coming to that family function today because all y'all energy so negative that I can't breathe. Let me get back in the car. So being able to know, like, when our family and whoever we might struggle the boundaries with, that we need to be able to just sometimes just say no. And if they go into a whole question, not today. You don't owe anybody. We're not obligated to tell anybody anything, because then we sitting over here again miserable trying to explain why we can't do something, and they still not satisfied with our answer. Like,
Ooh,
but they still
yes.
ain't satisfied. So it's like, why am I putting energy in a conversation that you gonna feel how you feel anyway? So what's the point? I released the belief that I'm supposed to fit into someone else's box. I released the box that I had to grow up in, because my parents only knew what they knew. So I had to learn who I am. I'm very transparent. I tell people, like, hey, I was raised Christian in the church, was usher, sang in the choir, all of that. I don't identify as Christian now because I believe in spirituality. I believe my relationship with God is stronger now than it ever been in my entire life, because I'm not in the box of what religion had put me in. And so again, when it goes back to you identifying what that looks like for you as far as boundaries or releasing, go back to your conditioning, because what you value now may not be what your family told you to value. Like, I might value honesty. I was raised to value honesty, but honesty to me may mean differently than what it meant to me 10 years ago. So I'm big on, like, as we're working on transforming and putting things up as far as releasing the old version of us. Like, y'all should not be who y'all was last year. Like, if you are, then you got some work to do. Hell, really the person you was last week, because what triggered you last week, you should be trying to heal from it this week. So I go back to, again, that's why I said, oh, it's on my spirit to mention about release, because there's so many things that people are holding on to that they don't realize, and it come from conditioned thinking. And I'm big on religion. Like, I say prayer, I say grace. My son know, like, we do those things, but I want him to know what his relationship with God look like, because it may not be what I want it to be, And so I challenge people to just, like, don't get caught up in what society, family, all these people tell you that something, not even just spirituality, but something is supposed to be. But it's in my spirit to say, like, release all those rules that that were placed on you growing up, and learn who you are now. Now, if you still believe in what you believe in, that's fine, but then still make it your own. Still make it your own, because sometimes we be, so stuck on what we're supposed to be saying and doing, when really you over there, your whole stomach is cramping up because you uncomfortable around family members. Like, you're not supposed to be. So y'all be at these cookouts and with our family or family dinners, or maybe on a phone call, and you're just like, I don't really want to talk to this person. So why are you doing it?
You know what? You know what I'm really uncomfortable with? I'm really uncomfortable with Christians.
Mm,
I'm really uncomfortable with Christians because I felt like I owe Christians something, because that's what I was raised up in, to, be a Christian, be in the church. And it was so hard. It was just like a job.
mm,
Um, just imagine being gay, lesbian, different, and in your church, you belong on the funny farm. So you in church listening to the preacher say you belong on the funny farm. Like, that's not okay.
it ain't.
That's not okay. So now it's like I use my platform as a church, right? So everybody's welcome on my platform.
Yes.
Like, nobody will be judged, nobody will be turned away. Everybody's welcome.
I love that.
So that's the energy that I have. Church hurt is real. I know I'm all over the place, but
Well, it's freestyle chat. We can do that.
yeah, so
Y'all just had to stay caught up.
church hurt is real. And being a lesbian, finally understanding, like, it's hard accepting yourself as who you are because of how you was conditioned as a child. Being in church, reading the scripture, because that's the only thing that really stood out. It was just like, yo, if you gay, it don't matter. Like, you could be straight and be a thought. You know what I'm saying? It's okay for you to be a thought. But if you gay, that's like the big sin.
Yeah,
So I found myself always trying to dilute myself, like, dang, how can I fit in? But I never was meant to fit in.
that's right.
I was meant to fit out. And so now that I'm walking in my purpose and in my greatness, I don't give a fuck who accepts me. You know, I am who I am, but Um, yeah, church ain't my thing.
That's
I
okay.
believe in a higher power. I believe in God. Yo, Jesus was a radical. You know what I'm saying? Jesus was hanging with everybody. Like Jesus was hanging with the thoughts, the pimps, the winos. Like people forget, like Jesus was hanging with them. Like Jesus didn't care.
Yeah.
So I'm trying to understand, do people really know Jesus?
That could be $1 million question. And so that's the thing too, like when you think about, flesh, ego, when you think about shadow work, when I remember one time, like I was working with my mentor and just heard stretching my perspective of like a lot of times people always saying demons and devil, but sometimes that could be just us. That could be our shadow self. Because a lot of times, again, going back to being in that box, our light was dim, our shadow side was dim. So now, like shadow work is not just going in and bringing up things that you probably been holding on to, but it's you accepting the shadow aspect. Shadow self, love self makes me whole. And so it's like, and let me be clear. Like I said, I even though I don't identify, I'm non-denominational. Like I don't attach to anything because one thing I did, I'm very thankful for when I came out on my own and like moved away. I went to different churches just to see what I felt like. I went white, black, it didn't matter. I traveled and went different just to see what it felt like, and to me, as far as what my spirit connected with. And so a lot of times, because again, I was raised a certain way and I wanted to know, like, is this who I am as an adult? Because again, like, a lot of times, sometimes people as parents be thinking that kids are our possession and they're not. Some people, don't realize our kids, we were here to put them, is for them to have a journey, for them to figure out who they are, and for them to learn different things. And so sometimes we put so much things again in a certain little box thinking it's supposed to be a certain way. But if you've been taught something all your life, how do you know that that's what you believe in now if you don't explore? Some of us are so narrow-minded and not willing to be open-minded and change, because again, changes can be scary. Change can cause fear, false evidence appearing real. So it's like, at what point do you decide that it's time to just explore something, and really that something is just you, just exploring who you are? And again, if you still fall back to whatever you were raised in, there's nothing wrong with that. But I always challenge people to just like, how do you know that's right? How do you know that's real? Do you feel it in your spirit? Going back to how does emotions feel in your body? Like spiritual trauma. When I start studying trauma, as far as in my role as a therapist, like it's a whole dynamic that people don't want to admit to. But I work with clients who experience spiritual trauma, was raised in a church setting or raised in a certain religion. Like, not just talking about Christianity, you got people who grew up Catholic in different religions and suffer. Like, here, I learned more about Catholic and we thought Christians, ain't anybody listen. It's people that are so conditioned, again, by their religion, that they don't even know what the religion means to them. So even people who are in religion, I'm not throwing no shade. Like I want people to be whatever they want to be, connect to whatever you want to connect with. But how does it feel in your spirit? How does it feel in your body? Like I'm all about universe. I'm about my ancestors. I'm about my spiritual team. Like, I'm about prayer. A lot of us, grew up having to pray a certain way. I always felt like I don't think I'm saying it right. I don't think I'm praying right. When sometimes we be like, oh Lord, please can I get this job? Nah, pray for abundance. Don't just pray for the job, because abundance is not just financial. I'm praying, we pray, oh Lord, I want to get this house. Nah, I pray that you get to change your environment and change your setting, that I walk into a space that I feel is mine. So sometimes we be praying for direct things, but we supposed to be having an open mind to thinking about that, because abundance, it goes so much further than what we think it is. And a lot of times, we be using certain words that create the negative mindset. Like people say, oh, I'm broke, I ain't got but such and such. No, we ain't broke. If you keep saying you broke, then yeah, you're gonna be broke. I don't care if you make $15 an hour. Like, bruh, you still listen. We're not using no negative words. So again, conditioned thinking that we're supposed to be operating in some of these words. It's like, get your power back and really learn who you are, knowing what things mean to you, so that way you don't sit over there in misery. Because again, if we don't be releasing what these negative things are, then we continue to be like, damn, back hurting, I'm holding on, all this stuff, because you carrying all that negative emotions in your back. Like, that's where trauma is stored. For y'all that don't know, like, you got some serious back pain, a lot of times you hold on to trauma in your back, and going into a chakra, your sacral and your solar plexus, that's where you hold your trauma. That's where 7 through 14, 14 through 21, go back and think about what you were going through during those ages in your life. That's probably why you're holding on to a lot of stuff. So I challenge people, like, from a holistic standpoint, really start getting in tune with your body so you can know what's going on. Because y'all go to a doctor quick when something hurting on you, but then if somebody tell you, like, because the doctor ain't gonna tell you, have you had any trauma in your life, or are you in a difficult relationship that you don't know how to express your emotions, or are you operating out of a certain energy that's not yours because you was taught to operate in this way? And let me go even deeper. Some of y'all forcing yourself to be in committed relationships when you're really supposed to be in an open relationship. So again, conditioned thinking of what you think you're supposed to be. There are people who are miserable in these committed relationships, marriages, or whatever, and not even meant to be with that person, but because somebody told us what you're supposed to do, then you sitting over there unhappy. So, and I attribute that, for anybody that's really into astrology, because I'm big on astrology. It's a tool called human design. And so human design is a chart that you got to have your birth information and your birth date. It will literally tell you what your purpose is. It will tell you how you're supposed to be living your life. So, and as I bring this up, like the type that I am as far as human design, I'm something called a manifesting generator. And what that means is I'm supposed to be here. I'm multi-passionate. I'm on earth to do many different things. Growing up, I thought something was wrong with me. Well, Miss Fogg, you've only been at this job for a year. Yeah, because that's all the time I needed to give them. I learned, I mastered the skill. There are jobs that I was at for 2-3 months and I was like, yeah, I'm out. Because either I wasn't learning anything or whatever it wasn't in my spirit. But when I started learning what my type was, like, no, you are meant to be doing different things. I'm meant to be here to sample different things and create this beautiful tool for the collective. And so there are some people who are operating certain energy that you're not even supposed to be operating in. Some of y'all working a 9 to 5 and you only supposed to be working like an 8 to 1. Just saying. So yes. So if y'all, that human design is a whole different level. That's something that you'll hear me talk about a lot, because once I came into learning about human design and learning the type that I was, and then I start studying my chart on a deeper level, like, dang, I wasn't even supposed to be doing this. Like I said, it literally, some of y'all got energy in y'all chart that says you're supposed to be having a bunch of one-night stands to explore a certain level in your life. So you can know what relationships feel like. So you can know what sexuality feels like. Some of y'all are meant to be operating out of seducing people. Some people got femme fatale energy in your chart. Like, so I promise you, like, if you're really into human design, it can really tell you, are you meant to be doing things a certain way. And then another tool, then I'm gonna shift a little bit from human design. But one thing that's in my chart is something that I'm trial and error. Like, I'm meant to try things. So like, I'm the kid, like, oh, the stove hot, get away from that stove. But let me just touch it and see how hot it was. I grew up with animals in the yard and we had an electric fence. I didn't put a stick on the fence. I didn't put my hand on it. I wanted to know what the fence was gonna do to me. But that's in my design as a human. I'm meant to do trial and error things. And that can also mean people in relationships. You might only meant to be with a person just for a little bit, just to see what they got going on. No, you don't. You ain't supposed to be with me. Then you move on to something else. So human design is a beautiful tool. I challenge anybody that has their birth like actual time. So if you don't have that, go to your birth certificate, find out what time you was born, ask your mom and your dad or whoever if you have access to that. And you can go to either myhumandesign.com. You can search human design chart. They're free. And then, if you want to go deeper with that, you can. But I encourage anybody to really know what your type is. So KJ, if you know your birth information, text that to me so I can tell you what type you are.
Man, listen, I'm about to listen. I'm about to yeah, I'm most definitely going, cause I'm sitting here thinking about stuff, but
Mm-hmm.
that's why I really want to have a series on poly. Um I really want to have a series on poly.
Okay.
I'm not meant for poly.
Yeah.
I'm not meant for it,
Mm-hmm.
but in a sense I understand it.
Yeah.
So that's how my mind is. Like, even though that something's not meant for me, I
Yeah.
still want to know about it. I accept everybody.
Exactly.
So
And that's probably in your design. Like, you're meant to here to be open minded and again operate out of discernment. Some of us don't even know, like, operating out of discernment is being able to know how to, use your ability to judge. And so it's like I'm not here to judge people, but I know that something in my spirit ain't feeling right with a certain situation.
yeah,
So just knowing, the fact that you can be open-minded to know, like, hey, I think that's a beautiful thing. I think that's a topic that people don't understand. Let me say that there are a lot of times that people are so narrow-minded. They hear that word and it's just like, ugh. But it's like, again, some people are meant. Some people, I know people that have like co-wives. It's like, whew, I'm done with you. Going over to the other person. I can't deal with you. Everybody's not meant for monogamy. I want to say that again. Everybody's not meant to be with one person. Some of y'all are forcing yourself to be with one person, and it's not what's in your design. Like, if you really go back and do a reflection on your relationships and how you feel, you'll know, like, okay. But if that's the case, there's nothing wrong with you. That's just not what you're here for. Some of us are here to procreate, have a lot of babies, and populate the earth. Some of us are here to sample different people just to see. Some of us, your purpose might just be to practice time management. You might suck at time. You probably some of y'all getting late. It's me sometimes, but sometimes you might suck at time management, and that might be your only purpose on earth, is to learn how to master how to be on time, learning how to organize. So when you're thinking about like your passion and purpose, that's a whole live right there in itself. But when you start thinking about what your purpose is, y'all sometimes get lost in that, think it's got to be something grand. Just because you can sing don't mean that that's what you're supposed to be doing. That might just be a passion of yours. It may not be your purpose. Or just because you might be a great artist as far as painting or drawing, that might be a passion. It might be a therapeutic release. It might be how you release. That don't mean you meant to be out here pushing art for everybody to see. So that's another thing too, as far as releasing the conditioning that you have on yourself, thinking that you're supposed to be in a certain role and you're not happy in your job or in your career because you're forcing yourself to do something that you really don't want to do. So
that's real. That is so real, because sometimes we sit here and look at what everybody else doing. We get so caught up in trying to compare ourselves to everybody else. That's what I used to do. I used to compare myself. I used to compare myself. Like, I haven't worked in over like over a decade. And so I felt like, man, I ain't doing nothing with my life. But I was just so focused on just, dang, I ain't got no 9 to 5. I ain't got this. I ain't got, what I'm saying? I was focused on everything that I was lacking, not everything that I had.
Yeah.
So now I'm looking at everything that I have. I look at that. I'm grateful that, even though I'm not working, I'm still getting residual income. I'm grateful that I'm able to do what I want to do when I want to do it. I'm grateful for that. I'm grateful that I'm able to stand outside on the porch and raise my hands out like this and say, I deserve everything, universe. I'm grateful for being able to look at the birds, the squirrels, the tree. I talk to the trees now.
Hello, that's a whole work. That's spiritual self-care right there. Sometimes my homework to a client, go outside and hug a tree. 15 seconds, hug the tree. And I promise you, I've gotten responses to like, don't do that. Somebody looking at me. So go hug the tree. Like, pay attention. It might be a bug or something up there, but like, getting in tune with you. That's a part of, I love me enough to explore and to know what I like. So yeah, talk to the bird, talk to the trees. That's spiritual self-care right there.
Sheeka is the best. Thank you for everything you do.
Ashe.
So
I received that,
man. You know the vibe. So yeah, I talk to like every word. Like, listen, when I go outside, it's like I always see birds, but they like in pairs. It's like two of the same birds.
That might be your spirit animal.
So it's always like birds together, and they are always in front of my car. Like birds are just coming. Like, I'm talking about, like, one day I was just sitting there and I'm like, man, why do these birds, like, I know birds supposed to be outside, but no birds like birds is on something different with me. It's like I see double of birds. You feel what I'm saying? It's like I just see birds and I think differently. Like, man, these birds be talking to me. I'm like, bird, what's up today, bird? Like, I be having conversations with the birds and they just be chilling. Like, they don't run from me or nothing.
See, that might be your spirit animal though. Like, if you don't have, because again, like, if you got a deeper connection, especially when it comes to animals, like certain animals are spirit animals. Sometimes messages are received through particular animals, especially birds. Like, that's that's a big one right there. So yeah, when you notice that, like that's a whole vibe right there to be able to connect on a spiritual level, to be able to have a conversation. Birds sing, and especially if they're like, if they don't fly away, and if you
They
feel they're around
don't.
you, that might be your spiritual animal, child.
Yeah, like they just be coming. Like I could just go outside and they just come. I just go outside, the birds come. Like, I'm not talking about one bird. I'm not talking about two birds. I'm not talking about three birds. I'm talking about like pairs of birds, like four
Okay.
birds, six birds.
Yeah.
It's the birds. It's in the same location. Wherever I'm at, the bird is at. You understand? So it's like,
Mm.
yo, like, because somebody told me I was a messenger from God.
I believe that.
Somebody told me that, and I was like, okay. And then somebody also told me, like, man, my mama used to say this, or my dad used to say that, like their parents had passed away. So basically whatever what I was telling them, that was familiar for them, but
Hmm.
I didn't know. But
Yeah.
I was just having a conversation with them, you feel me? But
Yeah.
that's what they was telling me. So
That could, again, spirit could speak through us in different ways. Like, and that's the thing too. Like, that's why I say when I pull the card, like, spirit, what what's on my heart, for, or what message should we talk about today for as a collective? And if nothing came up, then would have been whatever. But you pay attention to those vibes when it comes to, again, like I said, spirit animals, a feeling you get around certain people, because sometimes it is meant for you to be a message. Sometimes we get messages in dreams, and it's be like, is this mine? This had to be for somebody else. So just make sure so that shows me the frequency that you're on, because you're able to receive and pull in different messages. Somebody don't even understand, because there's somebody thinking like, talking to the birds, that's correct. Go get your life. That means you ain't on the frequency we
yes.
on if you don't understand what we're talking about right now.
Yes.
That's a whole different vibe, and to be able to know that, because one thing I learned is that when we operate from our G self, and G stands for God, like whatever God means to whoever, what it means to you. But when you operate out of your, like, I'm learning how to G check myself. Like, wait, that's me operating out of ego. When I start thinking, or we start
Mm-hmm.
being in negative energy, it's like, that's not my God self. That's not my G self. Let me get myself together. So learning how to tap into your spirituality, like, I'm going to respond out of gratitude. I'm going to respond out of my forgiveness. I'm not going to respond out of my pain. Like, us as humans, we operate out of our pain points. I spoke about triggers earlier, but we got pain points that we operate from. So, learning, like, again, if you say, hey, I'm angry, like, I'm big on knowing what your emotions are. So you say, all right, my emotion is anger. All right, what does that feel like? I'm disgusted. I'm feeling resentful. Some of y'all holding on to resentful, and your whole back on fire because you holding on to resentment from somebody, or you holding on to a grudge and they ain't even thinking about you. Sometimes we go inward, not understanding, like, we might be dissatisfied. That's a form of anger. Like, I feel dissatisfied. Like, that's some stuff going through the drive-through, and I had my mouth set on maybe some fries from Chick-fil-A, and they had no salt on. I'm dissatisfied. I'm irritated now because I wanted them damn fries. Like,
Yeah.
it don't have to be nothing deep. It's sometimes something very simple. But if we get triggered by something as small as, I didn't get that, then I need to go inward. I ain't really mad at the person that gave me them fries. I'm really mad at something else, but that triggered something in me. But again, our emotions are stored in our body. So if anybody have ever experienced it, like, dang, why am I crying? Or why did I get so mad? Or why am I so triggered? Nothing. Or you might have been having a great day. It could have been a smell. It could have been something somebody said. It could have been something you saw. That's why I'm big on teaching anybody, like, stop getting on your damn phone when you wake up in the morning. Like, can you wake up and think for yourself? But the first thing you get up and do, get your phone, start scrolling. You already not giving yourself time to think. And then when you go to bed, you scrolling and scrolling. You want to go to sleep, and you wonder why your dreams, or wonder why you feeling sluggish in the morning. Like, stop depending on y'all phone for everything, because I promise you, y'all don't understand that subconscious stuff that we be sleeping on or sitting on, and then it's like, ooh, trigger right quick. Probably some of your subconscious. So, you have to be mindful of that, because and that's when that hugging the tree come in hand. It's like, let me go hug a tree today because I'm in my feelings. Let me go take my shoes off and walk in the grass. What does grass feel like? That's ground. That's root chakra work. Go put your feet in some grass. I know it might be hot, but go put your feet in some grass and ground yourself, or go to the beach and put your feet into some sand. And, I don't care if you don't like being barefoot, put your feet in the ground so you can know what grounding feels like. And a lot of times, some of us are so busy being busy, and y'all ain't doing nothing. You always say you ain't got time, but go pull up your thing in your phone and tell me how much time you spend on social media. But you couldn't meditate for 5 minutes when you woke up. You couldn't go into a whole gratitude list. Like gratitude, that's one of my favorite songs. Like it's a song called Gratitude, but it's a bunch of affirmations. But when you start really going deep, like I'm grateful for the birds. Like my son, he's 5, and we meditate. Like our routine in the morning was morning meditations with mom. We get up, we do our little stretches, and we talk about what we're grateful for. And I'm teaching him to think like, "Hey, I'm thankful for you, mommy." And I'm like, "Why? Why are you grateful for me?" And when I'll say, "I'm grateful for the birds." "Why, mommy?" "Because I can hear the birds singing. I connect." Like if your gratitude list don't make you cry or get you emotional, you ain't doing it right. Your gratitude list should bring some type of emotion because you're not doing surface level stuff. Some of y'all doing surface level healing. "Oh, I thought I got over that. I let that go." No, you didn't. You just wrote it down in your journal and ain't went back and processed it since. Like,
Yeah.
you got to be able to do the work, y'all. So some of y'all that's sitting on trauma or sitting on anger, sitting on resentment, sitting on insecurities. We were talking about, codependency and people pleasing. Like I said, it's a blessing. I'm so glad that I don't have to feel like I have to people please or respond a certain way, because I was miserable as hell. I was hanging on to friendships, that people was treating me like crap, talking to me any kind of way, or they was putting other people on the high pedestal when I was doing more for them. And I'm like,
Say that, Sheeka.
it's like,
Say
you can't
that.
even, excuse me, spirit, look, that's that throat chakra. I had certain friends that would gloat and do all these different things, but like, you remember that birthday, but you can't remember mine. And people be like, ain't that big of a deal? Sometimes it is with certain people. When you have a certain connection with people, I don't need Facebook to remind me. I still got remembrance of people's birthdays. I don't need Facebook to tell me who somebody's birthday is if I truly F with them.
Yeah.
Like if they truly people in my life. But I was being friends with people, and I was the one of my love languages, even though mine is not personally, I don't care about no gifts. Gifts number 5 at the bottom for me. But I knew that I showed love through gifts for certain people. But then I was buying gifts or doing things for people that didn't appreciate me. But when I got low and I needed them, where y'all asses at?
See,
where y'all at?
see, that's what it was with me. I was always pouring into people, but like, so if I spend this minute, if I'm here for you every day, right, and it's my birthday, right, you don't. I mean, it's like you show love to the person. You write paragraphs about the person that's not there for you, but the person that's there for you, you don't write paragraphs for.
Yes.
Like, make it make sense. So I give to people what I deserve. I give people flowers because that's what they deserve.
For sure.
You know what I'm saying? I water, I feed, I nourish. That's what I am. I used to look for people to reciprocate things though. But you don't like, but that's expectations. You know what I'm saying? That's the ego.
Yeah.
So once I was able to understand, like, bruh, like I used to be getting mad at people. Well, why don't you do this? Why don't you do that? Like, I'm doing it for you. Why? I'm telling you, I was mad because I'm like, I'm a good person.
Yep.
Like, well, why don't you value me like you value them? Why do you talk to me crazy?
Right.
Because I'm allowing you to talk to me crazy.
Yep.
I'm allowing you to treat me like that. Now it's like, girl, I don't even care. Like, I used to wonder, because people will leave your life so quick. So now I'm just accepting it. Like, all right, boom. It was a lesson I needed to learn. I appreciate you for the lesson. Yep. You did hurt my feelings, but I forgive you, and it's okay. Yep. Thank you. Yep. So that's growth for me. Instead of Kendra being petty and tagging them in a post.
Yeah.
Because I would tag you in the polls. I would tag you in the polls for my $40. You know what I'm saying? That $40 that I'm never going to get. So why am I still speaking on $40 that I know I never get? Why am I doing this to myself? I know that boy ain't gonna pay me that $40.
But like you said, the expectation, a lot of us are attached to outcomes, expectation that we place on people, thinking that they're supposed to put the same energy in us, when sometimes they don't give a damn about us. We was caring too much. And so when we operate again out of our old self or what we think we're supposed to do, because I know I got people that owe me money too, and it's like, I'm gonna just go and let it go. And when I was holding on to it, it's like, why does bother me so much? Because it's like, because I wanted them to do to me the same way I did them. Like, yes. I remember that's one of the things that, do unto others you want somebody to do unto you. Like, I really believe that. And so when
Yeah.
people don't reciprocate, it's just like, well, damn, what am I doing wrong? I was blaming myself when it's like, nah, you just didn't deserve me. You just didn't deserve me. At
Yes.
even at my weakness, you still didn't deserve that. So some of
Yeah.
us are like, holding on to the narrative that we're supposed to do certain things for people, or people supposed to treat us a certain way. Nah, they
Mm-mm.
don't. They don't owe us nothing, and we don't owe nobody nothing either. It's in our birthright to get respect the way we supposed to get it. And if you got people that's not giving you respect, bye. I can love you from afar because I operate out of my G stuff, my God stuff. I love everybody. You could have done me wrong, talk crap about me, said what you wanted, call me whatever. I still love you, bro, because that's me operating out of my spiritual self. Because when I transition from earth and get on to my next assignment, oh, my soul gonna be at peace. Because I ain't holding on to nothing. And when I was holding on to stuff, it blocked me from blessings. So I'm big on, I tell my clients all the time, create your lessons and blessings list. Do it at the end of the year, do it at the end of the week. What's your lessons and blessings? Like, instead of y'all, I get on my women, and men too, when y'all be like, oh, men ain't shit, women ain't shit, whatever. No, that's the people you done dealt with. That's the people that you dealt with, because that's the frequency that you was in to receive that. And so when you go in and do your lessons and blessings list, it's like, you know what? I didn't love me enough to recognize that this man was treating me like crap. Or I didn't love me enough to know that I was codependent. It felt good to not have to do stuff. They was doing all this stuff for me, but in reality, they calling me lazy behind my back. And you're thinking that
Yeah.
they doing something for me. No, they talking about me. So I owed it to myself and I challenge anybody, like, to heal from whatever you need to heal from, release whatever you holding on to. So if y'all holding on to something that's not serving you, it's causing you pain, it's causing you frustration. A lot of times when we get sick and we get ill, like when I said I was under the weather, that was just spirit telling me to sit down and slow down because I was doing too much and I needed to sit down. And I had this nagging cough. And I couldn't figure out, and I still got a little bit of, but I had this nagging cough, and I realized I use my voice, but I have a defined throat chakra. In my human design chart, I have a defined throat. Growing up, I didn't use my voice the way I needed to, because I felt like, oh, I got to stutter, or, oh, I talk too fast. I was putting all these, again, victim badges that was blocking me from speaking. And it's just like, you got something you need to say. People need to hear you. So it's times that we don't use our voice when we need to. It's times that we don't operate from our throat chakra. So we're supposed to be using our spoken word on whatever that is. Or sometimes it's something simple as saying how the hell you feel. Like, how you feel today? I'm mad. You pissed me off. You triggered me. I'm triggered as F right now. Like, being able to let people know, like, nah, this is not okay. Like, you can't talk to me any kind of way. Some people are afraid to tell their parents or your siblings, and I'm go deeper, some of these jobs are disrespecting you, and you feel like, because they gave me this check, but then you over there miserable. Like, is that check? Yeah, no, we got to pay our bills, but then you waking up, damn, I don't want to go to work today. I done been in the job crying on the way to work, crying in the parking lot, miserable as hell, because it wasn't in alignment with me anymore. And I didn't love me to know that I deserve better. So when you say earlier, oh, Ashe, Ashe. So when you speak earlier about saying what you deserve, like, we all should have. That's a whole affirmation. It ain't got to be anything behind it. It's just, I deserve. I
Yes.
deserve. That's the affirmation. I release. I love me. I love me enough to be able to release whatever I'm holding on to. I love me enough to say I deserve. And if your circle is this small, then let it be that small. I don't know whether y'all know about the song Energy Budget by Tony. I think it's Tony Jones. If you're not familiar, learn about your energy. Like, it's a line in that song says, for all y'all that took my energy, run that back, run it back. Tell people to give your energy back. They don't deserve your energy because it's something that is meant for somebody else. So,
Woo, Sheeka. When I tell you, man, you saying everything, like everything. Like, I'm just thinking about what you said. You know how you just being good to people, right? So people know you good to them.
yeah.
But when people do you dirty is when they stop talking to you, and your energy is telling you, like, yo, listen, that person been talking about you. So that's why they acting distance towards you. And
Yeah.
boom, boom, boom. So I used to understand, like, okay, so this is why this person never celebrated me, because they was talking about me. You know what I'm saying? So they was celebrating me with me in private, but they wasn't celebrating me in public. I'm meant to be celebrated in public.
Hello.
I am of greatness. You understand what I'm
Okay.
saying? So
Yes.
you're not gonna come at me sideways.
Mm-hmm.
I walk with a purpose. I walk with my head up, love and light. Nobody can't take nothing away from me no more, Sheeka. Nobody ain't
Yes.
got power over me no more.
I
I
love it.
release all that. Release all
Love
that.
it.
I'm not a demon. I'm not a
Yes.
demon.
Hello. Ain't
I
nothing wrong.
am of God. God is within me. Because yeah, I was called a demon. Yes. I was called a
Wow.
demon. Yes, because I love women. Because I love women. That's why I was called a demon. I was. I was
I
called a
listen. I
demon, bro.
know. Listen. How and then right for me, being we talked about Christianity earlier, but like I used to be like, dang, I'm scared like to walk up in the church when I was in a relationship
Yo,
with a woman, was scared that I was gonna burn up.
I used to be,
Didn't know.
listen, I used to be, I couldn't be my like I wasn't I in church. I mean, I sung in the choir and stuff, you know what I'm saying? But I sung to the choir. I mean, sung in the choir, but I was singing to God. You feel what I'm
Mm-hmm.
saying? But
Yeah.
sometimes I couldn't even get in a place with my energy because of the people in the congregation. Even when I was younger, I could feel different energies. When I was
Mm-hmm.
younger, I could see how people looked at me. I
Yeah.
remember how people stared at me. You understand what I'm saying? How the way I dress, you feel what I'm saying? I
Yeah.
remember used to get in trouble for talking. I used to get in trouble for talking all the time. Kendra always talking. Kendra always doing this. Kendra got ADHD. Kendra won't sit down. Kendra over there. Kendra right there. Like I used to get in trouble for everything.
See, all that
Everything.
conditioning, all that I'm hearing,
Conditioning.
all
Like,
the
damn,
conditioning.
something wrong with me. Like, why can't I just be happy? Why can't I be high energy? Why something got to be wrong with me? Now
Yep.
at 38, it's nothing wrong with me. I'm high
Mm-hmm.
energy. I wake up like
Yes.
this every morning, Sheeka.
So that's why I need to pull your chart because you might be energy being like because that's something too like people don't realize like you like if people have an open crown in your human design chart, then yeah, you're gonna probably be classified as ADHD because ideas are coming in and out, in and out, in and out. Like being a talker, you might have had a defined throat. Even if you have an open throat, it's probably a way that you're supposed to use your throat chakra. You might have been using it in the wrong way, or you were filtered. Like you had to hide who you were. She always
Yeah.
talking on. Well,
Always
gotta be
asking
quiet.
questions. Why you
Yep.
asking so many questions, Kendra? Why you asking so many questions? So now it's like I'm doing what I love doing. I love asking questions.
Yes. Look,
I love
we are
asking
inquisitive.
questions.
People said that you talk all yes, I mean questions. Hey, I tell you, that's part of my description. I'm gonna ask a whole lot of questions. Why I love doing the sex when I'm working with clients. Like, let me go on and get these questions out. Like, that's how you learn. And so again, you talking too much, you asking too many questions. And I was the one like, why? I need you to tell me like that old school
Yeah.
condition. Do what I say, but why? Because I said so. That ain't no
Yeah.
reason. Like,
Facts.
why do I have to do that? And then we hold on
Yeah.
to stuff and then we repress who we really are because we're being who our parents or our teachers or whoever is supposed to be. Like, and I go back and I go back to religion. It's like a lot of times that was so much judgment that I felt like I had to deal with as well. Or they place us in all these things of not supposed to do this, not supposed to do that. And it's like, well, why not? This makes
And
me
then
happy.
it's bruh, like it was the way that people were like, do you understand that people, this girl, I will always remember, I went to college with her. She had 3 babies out of wedlock, right?
Mm-hmm.
She was like, well, you gay, you can't be gay. And I was like, okay. Like I said, okay. Like
Wow.
now I'm
Yeah.
like, no, you could why did I allow her to say that to me? And I
You
said,
were
okay,
old version of you. Old version of you. You were in your unhealed space. A lot of us don't realize that we operate. And yes, that's right. We suppress who we are. Like a lot of us again are sitting on things that we suppress and repress for so long. Again, it's about releasing. But yeah, when we look back on things that we've done in our life, it's like, why did I say that? Why did I do that? Unhealed space, operating out of lack, or sometimes we have a void in our heart because we got unmet needs. Some of y'all don't even know what your unmet needs are because you operating out of them. Like if you say, hey, I need security, but then if you don't feel safe in your relationship or safe in a conversation, then that's root chakra work. I need you to go back and identify what makes you feel safe. Sometimes that's the hardest question for people to answer is like, what makes you feel safe? Like I used to feel like I need titanium say I need to feel like I can be who I am in the relationship that I'm in right now. And I used to always think because I had to learn I wasn't my trauma. And I, for a long time, felt like I had to be who the person I was with wanted me to be. And then I was never happy. I was so miserable. so miserable trying to be who people wanted me to be. And it's like, it's okay. Just because I'm a woman, I don't have to love cooking. I don't like it. And I thought that I had to be a certain way. The man that I'm with, he loves to cook. He loves to cook for me. This is what I wanted. When you manifest that partner, he need to know how to cook. And he does well. And as I'm learning to unlearn all these things that I've been eating that's not healthy for me, I had to realize too, like I'm supposed to eat a certain way. That's another thing that I will plug out for the human design. Your human design chart tell you how you're supposed to eat. Like some of y'all supposed to be like everybody not meant to be plant-based. Some of y'all going vegan and they ain't supposed to be vegan. Some of y'all supposed to be eating meat. Some of y'all not supposed to be eating meat. Like it goes that deep, but I was feeling in so many different ways. I was supposed to be cooking like my grandma taught me how to cook. I was supposed to be cleaning things a certain way because, my dad had a cleaning business and he cleaned a certain way. Like I was putting myself in all these boxes and I was like, who am I? What do I like doing? If I don't feel like doing anything today, because again, I'm a manifestor generator. So the manifestor part of me is that some days I may not want to do nothing, or I might have energy to just read a book. And that might be all I want to do for the day, and then, and sometimes we be in a situation where we're miserable trying to, please, again, go back to people pleasing, or we're codependent on somebody because we feel like, oh, well, I'm missing this. I lack this, but I can get it from the person that I'm with. But then I'm still miserable. I look at them like, but you're not making me happy though. I'm over here miserable thinking I'm supposed to be, wifey material or look a certain way when really that's not what I want it to be. Because I look at being a wife as an assignment, and the assignment to me is that I'm going to provide a certain level of dedication. I wasn't ready to say I do to anybody when I'm over here hurting and unhealed and operating out of my unhealed space. What I look like? Listen, I've been with my person. My son is 5, and we have celebrated 6 years. Has them 6 years been easy? No. People ask me now, why y'all ain't married? Because we wasn't ready. Both of us was unhealed. We on a whole different vibe now to where we can offer each other. And I promise you, I'm big on, like, I ain't judging nobody that, that whatever, you really got 3 months, you want to get married, that's fine. But then, like, know who you are though. Like, know who you are. Y'all jump into relationships and then you ain't even hear from the last 2 you was in. Oh, well, we broke up. Let me go be with somebody else.
That's me. That used to be me. Sheeka. Sheeka. That was me.
I got the trophy and the t-shirts.
Sheeka, that used to be me. Like, but this right here, this relationship here taught me how to be still, taught me how to be patient. She said, no, I told you what it is. This is my boundaries. Okay, you're gonna respect my boundaries. I love myself. I love myself. So I'm telling you, I say this all the time. The way she loved herself, that's how I learned how to love me. How she loved herself.
Yeah.
So I had to sit still. I wanted to rush everything, Sheeka. I want to rush everything. I want you. I want you. And she was just like, I told you what it was. And then I just had to sit there. I had to sit still. I had to find out. I had to find me out. Because she met me where I was at. Because she was on a different frequency. Okay. So she was on a different frequency. But she met me where I was at.
Yeah.
Nobody has never met me where I was at. So she met me where I was at.
That's beautiful.
She didn't judge me. She allowed me to be me, but she pushed me. She pushed me. She pushed me. She didn't coddle me. She didn't coddle me. She pushed me. She pushed me. That's why I'm here today, because of her.
I shade. Let me get them flowers to your queen, to your goddess. I shade to her because listen, that's what it's about. And that's how I felt too. Like sometimes we have, like you said, going into relationships we haven't healed, for somebody to take time and say, listen, you triggered right now and you operating out of your trigger. I need you to slow down a little bit. I need you to learn how to put a boundary up. How you gonna say you want to be with me committed and you can't even handle rejection? You can't even handle when I yell at you or get mad because you triggered from your old relationship. Some of us are sitting in our triggers and then we're miserable and then not knowing, like, I need somebody to hold me accountable. If I'm doing wrong, call me out. Tell me I'm doing wrong so I can figure out how to heal from it. Not for me to just be like avoiding. Some of us are avoiding and running away. Like, oh, this relationship didn't work. Let me go over here. This one, you ain't took time to figure it out. Or even like, that's just like reading a book. Y'all got, and I'm a manifestor, so I might be reading 3 books at one time. But I might have read the same book 4 different times, or I might have to hear it through Audible because I need my subconscious to take in. Read chapter 1 and apply. What did you learn? You didn't read a whole book, but you don't tell me what you learned from it. Like some of us are trying to go too fast, want the shortcut. So anybody that's a manifesting generator, we want the shortcut. We want to get to it. But I tell my client, ain't no damn shortcut to healing, bro. It takes time. It takes time to process what we've been through. I need to process. I had a partner that passed away years ago, and it took me up until last year to process what that death meant to me, because of things that it was in that relationship that I didn't learn about till later. And when I promise you, it elevated me and took me to a whole different level. I was holding on to stuff that wasn't serving me. I'm like, she can't answer these questions for me. But when I start processing and connecting from a spiritual level, I got all the answers I needed to get, because I was attached to the expectations and the outcomes that came from that relationship, when really it was me who needed to heal. It was me who needed to figure out who I was. It was me who needed to know, like, I needed to heal from whatever trauma. I'm a survivor. I don't even like to use the word survivor sometimes, but I got a history of sexual trauma that I had to deal with. And I was taking a college class and read the word pedophile and just bust out crying. I was like, why the hell am I crying? I didn't know that's what that meant. I didn't know at the time what I went through was attached to that word. And so I was like, oh, go get me a therapist and figure this shit out. But sometimes we're sitting on things, and we, our families or whoever will brush things under the rug, and then we sitting over here miserable, don't know why we in pain. It's like you owe it to yourself to release that pain. So if you don't know what your pain is, start with that. But I promise you, like, a lot of times we are running from healing when we need to just sit in it. Sit in the fact that you've been damaged. Sit in the fact that you feel anxious when you get around certain people. Sit in the fact that I might be depressed today. That doesn't mean that defines you. What is that depression? Depression is us holding on to something. Depression is grief. Anxiety is not trusting the process of life. So if you got a fear, false evidence appearing real, if you're holding on to fears, that means you are not trusting the process of life. Some of y'all be planning the future. Some jobs like, where do you see yourself in 5 years? How about where I see myself in 6 months? Like, let me stay what's going on right now. It's good to plan for the future, don't get me wrong, but a lot of us miss the present. We just skip over, we trip over it because we don't want to deal with what's going on right now. Now, how you gonna have a beautiful future if you don't hear from your past? How are you gonna have a beautiful present if you don't even know what being present means? Like mindfulness, meditation, y'all want to hear these words like, I ain't trying to meditate. No, it's not about sitting still. You can meditate off music. Listen, play a song. Don't listen to the words. Listen to the music in the background. Then go back into the song. Listen to the words. Don't pay attention to the beat in the background. That's the whole meditation right there. Is you being able to sit still and just focus on something. You can sit and talk to yourself if you need to, because some of us is in our chart as a human that we have to talk things out to process. It ain't got to be to anybody on the other side. But some people judge us like, oh, they were talking to themselves again. No, I need to be able to process what I need to say. So yeah. A lot of times we think something wrong with us. So that's the message. I want to say that so we can get ready, because I can sit here and talk to you all day.
And I can talk too. Listen, Sheeka, I can talk too.
Michelle, thank you. I appreciate that.
Look, I can talk too. So guess what? I talk.
But
I love it too.
I want to go back to like I said, this platform you got. I love it because everybody that's came on here, I'm still going through some of your podcasts, but I love the diversity you have in your Black love. You have like for Pride Month. Shout out to the fam. We got our coming out stories. Like, I love the different things that you're doing. So you mentioned earlier about maybe having a series on polygamy. And again, like a lot of us that shy away from the conversation about religion. Let's talk about it. Like, again, some of us are so conditioned to whatever we were raised in, and that's okay. But I need y'all to at least have the conversation that you were afraid to have. People think, I got a crystal right here. Y'all know crystals was in the Bible, right? Y'all know crystals was in the Bible, right? But this keep me elevated. This might help me with my anxiety, so I'm holding on to it. Like, sometimes we are so conditioned not and are afraid to even explore something because we worry about what somebody gonna say about us. I don't care. Like, I'm going to do what I need to do. Like, that's why I love my job as a therapist, because I'm not only I help you heal from trauma, but I help you realize that you need to release that and hold on. I'm not here to re-traumatize. Like, I use certain tools as a therapist, that something is called I use the one tool that I use is called brain spotting, and I help you. Like I say, you angry. I want you to tell me where that anger is in your body. Then I'm gonna help you find a brain spot that's connected to that anger in your body, so you can process and release and let it go. I'm gonna know what your trauma is, because the biggest thing is where we look affects how we feel. So sometimes, so some of y'all that be like, I'm not good with eye contact. There's nothing wrong with you. You might have been through some type of trauma, or your emotion might be attached to how you look and how you feel, and it might make you shy away from looking. Doesn't mean that you suck at public speaking, or doesn't mean that you disrespecting the person. You just got trauma that you hold in the back of your brain that's coming out in a different way. So it's about not knowing everything that happens in your body. And when you don't know that, then you so lost. You walking around, some of y'all walking around unbalanced, can't even stand up straight. You feel like you maybe, like even when it comes to yoga, you probably feel like, oh, I will never do yoga. I can't balance. Then you learn. What's wrong with learning new things, learning new activities? I release the negativity people have placed on me to make me feel like it's not my birthright to have what I want to have. If I want that 5-bedroom house, I need to start manifesting. What am I doing to get to it? I don't care what you make. If you want something, it's in your birthright to go get it. So what's blocking you? What are you holding on to? Identify, what should I be releasing that's blocking me? Some of us have a negative relationship with money. You wasn't raised. Like, I had a credit card at 18, Capital One, in debt now because that damn credit card. Nobody told me I needed to use my loan. I was buying couches and clothes and sitting over here. Listen. But if somebody don't tell you what you need to know, then what's wrong with you being able to learn how to do things? So just give y'all an idea. This is what Freestyle, Friday chats with Sheeka and Kendra look like. Information to book your appointment. Listen, you can put a message in my inbox. And I will say, like, if for people who have insurance, I do take insurance. And then I'm putting this out here now. Like, I'm planning probably around August to release my coaching program. I'm going to tell you right now, it's going to be $33 a month. So put your $33 up if you want. And it's going to be like a private Facebook group. I'm going to go live sometimes, talk about different things. It's about getting your emotional wellness and your mental wellness together, tapping into your spiritual self. So if that's something that you're called to, how I'm speaking right now, this is who I am as a therapist. Like, I tell people in a consultation, like, oh, you're not ready to do the work? I'm not a therapist for you. Because there are some therapists that, want to coddle and all of that. And no shade, because that was me when I first started out. But I'm here to help people heal. So if you're not ready to do the work, then don't come to me, because I'm gonna have you crying at some point, because I need you to release whatever you holding on to. So and I'll talk more about that when we get closer to time. But I encourage anybody, like, to be able to tap into coaching, to be able to know, like, I need some goals in place. What are some goals? Like, we got 6 months left for the year. You ain't got to have no grand plan. Your goal for the year might be, I need to master balance. Like, I suck at balance in my life. I'm not disciplined. Why do I keep going back to the same habits? Like, we talk about, weight and stuff like that. When I learned that my migraines was attached to my emotions, that I was holding on to stuff, or I was living a lie in my life, that's what some of my migraines was coming on, because I was holding on to the pressure, mental pressure, that I'm supposed to live a certain way. I didn't understand that till later. A lot of us are holding on to things in our body that it could just be simply having gratitude for. I'm thankful. I wake up saying, I'm thankful for this pain, but I want her to go away, because I know that the pain is there as a trigger to alert me that something is not right. My body is telling me that something is not right. And I need y'all to get into the habit of knowing what it looks like, so you can release that. So with that, I wanted to also ask you, Kendra, like, is there anything that did I freeze? Who froze?
Oh, she said, I don't know.
Okay.
You don't look. Who for say something, Sheeka.
Michelle.
Yeah, okay, yeah, you unfroze now.
Okay.
It was, yeah.
Blame it on Spectrum, y'all. Because Spectrum sucks. But anything else that you had on your mind, like, when again, like I said, when we're talking about release, but anything else in your spirit that is touching you right now?
What's touching me in my spirit right now is just keep going. People are going to say things to you along your journey while you're walking in your purpose. People are going to not support you, and it's going to be subliminal, but they see where you're going. Yeah. So when a person sees where you're going, and it didn't work out for them in that way, they would talk bad on you, but you just got to keep going.
Keep
You got to
going.
keep believing in yourself. So that's where I'm at, believing in myself and not waiting on people. Yeah, I can't bring everybody with me. That door is only meant for
Ooh,
me to go
that's a
through.
whole word.
But I want to bring
Okay.
everybody with me because I feel like I want everybody to win.
Yeah,
But
you
that's where
can't.
I'm at with it. I can't,
Yeah,
and I gotta release
yeah.
because I gotta focus on me being service to the people and just doing what I supposed to do, and just because it's my birthright.
That's right.
It's my
That
birthright.
That's the other
So
word for the day, birthright, release. Birthright was the other word, and that's the thing. I love that keep going. I'm always big on that, telling my clients like to keep going. It might look true healing when y'all start, working on yourselves and really identifying what your greatness is. True healing is ugly as hell. It ain't cute. You might be
it's
in the corner in a fetal position, crying like hell. Oh my God. Then we want to avoid and run back to. I'm gonna just go back in my pain. I'm gonna smoke it away, drink it away. I'm like, that song by Solange, like we want to do all the things, but then it was still there when I woke up. Like, dang, this how it went away. I'm still feeling this way. Nah, if you still feeling that way, that means you need to go deeper. You need to go deeper. So I love that the concept, like you said, keep going, because a lot of times we want to stop, and a lot of times the world gets so heavy. Like if you ever feel, some of y'all, me talk to myself. Sometimes we be sitting. Sometimes a little life hack, release the tension. Like in my meditation with my son, we do get your shoulders up and down, round and round. Yeah, like that's releasing tension. Making sure your tongue is not at the roof of your mouth all the time because you holding the tension in your face. So understanding like we hold so much stuff in our body, we need to be able to release. So release that. Like, look, we used to work with kids a lot, and I would teach them something called lion breathing, like actual Lion, lion. So it'd be like, all right, we're gonna relax and think about, we're gonna do this, and you're gonna go.
I do that. Yo, real talk, but I don't even know if I didn't even know, but I do be acting like a lion.
Lion
Now
breathing,
that
it's a whole method to release the tension in your head. Because sometimes our tongue be top of my mouth, we don't move around. You need to be able to release the tension because we hold so much. Or think about times when you holding stuff in your face or something in your face that you really want to say. Look, that's your throat chakra. This a whole putting your hands in your face and taking a deep breath and connecting. That might keep you from cursing somebody out today. Just go sit in your car in your lunch break, calm down. But a lot of times, a lot of people don't realize how much we hold in our body. But just putting your hand here, we doing some head chakra, some crown chakra. We holding our hands up here, and sometimes it's just sitting with that. Then how does that feel in your body? Is your feet planted in the floor? Is your feet propped up? Put your feet granted. And let's do one breath together, Karen. So we're gonna take it from the stomach. We're gonna breathe in. And then we're gonna breathe out. So just from that, sending energy from my crown chakra all the way down to my feet, that's helping me become grounded. And that might be just me releasing. Sometimes us taking our hands and flicking it, shaking the tension out. You might have been writing all day, might have been typing all day. Sometimes take a break, just flick your fingers, like release the tension. Again, now tell me how you feel in your body right now after we done that.
I feel relaxed.
Yes.
I feel relaxed.
Simple thing. It don't take but a few minutes to do that. So y'all want to pick up y'all phone, make sure your body is connected. Yes, continue to do line breathing, like release the tension in your body because you might be anxious or something like that, holding on to something and it don't even serve you. Right. People don't know how much energy, yes, in your hands. And like I'm a heal, like I do Reiki energy healing. So I'm big on making sure. I had to learn before I even did that. I didn't realize how much power we held. Yeah, we held in our hands. So releasing that, being able to move your hands, even if you bring them down like beside your side and just shake your hands, like releasing that helps a lot. So just be mindful of your body, y'all. Like energy transforms. Energy is held in our body. Like I can walk in Walmart, I'd be like, ugh, somebody just not in a good mood today. It could be half of the store probably, but I need to make sure when I come out that store that I'm making sure that I'm releasing and moving around. Because I'm holding on to something. And a lot of times too, it's something in our human design chart too, where some of us can take on other people's emotions and not even realize it. Like pay attention, like if you get around certain family members or a friend or a boss or a coworker and your stomach start tightening up or you start feeling some type of way, it ain't you, baby. It's that person around you. It's their energy, and I need you to pay attention to that because and sometimes it be our loved ones that make us feel uncomfortable and make us feel us anxious or make us feel sad. So when
Yeah.
you're thinking about energy, I want y'all to really start paying attention to how people make you feel, so you can release it. If you are, I don't know why this on my spirit, but some of y'all sitting at the dinner table. Somebody sit at a dinner table with a family member, mad as hell that they got to be there. Something that they want to say it. You might need to leave when you say it, but say it. It's time for you. So anybody that needs to release something when it comes to a family member
I gotta
or
release
somebody,
it. I
yeah,
got to.
release it. Cause it ain't serving us. Cause then we sitting over here in pain. We wonder why I got a headache today, or my neck hurting, or my foot hurt, my knee hurting. Yeah, cause you ain't releasing. I promise you, it's that simple. It's so many times that we be sitting on, like I said, illnesses, like unhealed emotions and unprocessed trauma. It creates disease in the body. It creates disease in the body. So you owe it to
Mm.
yourself. Like for anybody that's working on losing weight or changing your eating habits or whatever you're doing, as far as your vessel, make sure you're doing it for you. Don't try to be creating these plans. Everybody not meant to do intermittent fasting. Let me say it again. Everybody ain't meant to do it. Some of y'all are not meant to fast. It's in your human design chart. You're not supposed to be fasting. You might only need to detox. How many of y'all had a colon cleanse or a colonic? We hold on to 15, 20 pounds of shit in our stomach. You got to release it. You holding on to a lot of stuff in your body that you don't release. So I want people, again, release, 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 release.
Sheeka, I just gotta tell you, thank you so much. I appreciate you. And yo, this is major. This is so major. Like, I'm happy. Like, this is so
Thank you.
major. Like, you like that. Like I said, I'm so proud of you.
Thank
I
you.
am so proud of you. Like, I'm proud of you. Continue
Thank
being great.
you. I
And
thank you.
we gonna do this every Friday.
Yep.
We
Every
doing this
Friday
every
at
Friday.
11:30. Come tune
Yep.
in. If you catching the replay, for y'all catching the replay, thank y'all for tuning in. Thank y'all. All Kendra, Ashe, beautiful. That's my girl right there. I ain't seen you in a minute, but I promise you, you got a forever place in my heart. We go back to me failing my ninth grade PE class, and I was in PE as a senior in high school when Kendra was a freshman. I don't know whether you remember that, baby, but I still hold on to that. Because she don't
Yes.
understand, like she helped me because I couldn't stand PE in school. I felt like it was stupid to me. I didn't want to do
Oh
it.
my
But I also
God.
was operating out of my unhealed space because I felt like I was at a size everybody wanted, and I didn't want to do certain things. So that caused some healing too. But yes, tune in with us. We're gonna have any type of chat. As you can see today, we talked about a range of different things. That's why it's called Freestyle Friday Chats. Whatever's in our spirit, we're gonna talk about. I want to just, thank everybody for coming. I want to again give you your flowers. I've been rocking with Kim since we've been in elementary school. We got our own personal stories that we ain't gonna get into, but we got our own connection that this person has been in my life for a long time, but we've always connected on a different level. And even now, we at a different frequency that I'm so glad and thankful. Like it's in my design as a human that I'm supposed to respond to opportunities that come to me. So when you asked me, that was my opportunity. Spirit said, this is your time. So what you're doing, because I know you sitting over there on a whole master's degree in psychology. Like if y'all don't know, she got knowledge over there. Not only is just she a kindred spirit, and Kendra was the class clown. Listen, you mentioned about that stuff earlier about people putting you in the box. Like that's who you were supposed to be, bruh. So thank you for being who you are. Thank you for this platform. And I want to show love to everybody that's tuning in now and that's tuning in later. Okay. Ashe.
Yeah, most definitely. I appreciate you coming. Once again, listen, this is what it's all about. Release. Everybody release. You understand? Release. We all are working together. We're all on the same frequency. Everybody that's right here with us right now, we're all on the same frequency right now. I love
Mm-hmm.
everybody that's tapped in right now. The people that's gonna to tap in, I love y'all. Y'all are amazing. I'm sending nothing but abundance energy your way. I'm sending
Mm-hmm.
healing energy your way. Anything that you're going through, I'm just sending prosperity your way. I'm just sending big energy your way. Everything's going to work out. You are a powerful entity.
Mm-hmm.
Know that everything that you need is inside of you. Once you tap into your greatness, and understand how powerful you are, you will see things differently. You understand? Sheeka, thank you so much again.
Thank you.
Once again, this is Why Not Us Podcast. And we out. We'll be back next Friday, though.